Hey, what's up guys? Here we are back again for the Python BACnet Stacks Playground. So lately we are diving into Rust and some network programming concepts. Prior to this, if you follow the channel, we did a lot of basic computer science theory in Python, and we're kind of continuing to more advanced topics, most of it in Rust, and then how to do network programming, which is kind of gets into bits and bytes on the weather on the wire, and how data is transferred across the internet and BACnet traffic, and how there are stacks like backpipes or the Rusty BACnet, and other network stacks, where these are specialty software engineering fields that people specialize in how to build networking stacks to make computers communicate with each other. So, very important concept. I'm trying to learn. Rust is really hard. So there's also some theory lectures in Rust that we get to on the second half of these videos. And if you want to see me fumble around in Rust quite a bit, stick around for that, because I have a ton to learn in this topic. Eventually, we'll get into graph theory in Rust. So that's another advanced topic in computer science. So there's the fire hose is big for people without a computer science degree, right here. So, all right, so where should we start? So I have cursor open right here. And maybe a few things about Open-FDD is, so this is my Rust, my conversion from Python to Rust is going so slow. There's just so many bugs that I'm working out, like really small ones, um, that it's honestly been kind of intimidating getting it going. Looks like I committed a teeny bit of Python here for, um, this would have been a testing scripts, but Python is not running on this repository. It's all in Rust now. A little bit of Python just for testing the web app location. So yeah, so everything is all in Rust, and kind of like the strategy that I'm going for. There's still x86 builds, and then there's also ARM 64-bit builds. So this is all packaged on GitHub, and I was doing this on a daily basis almost, but I think I'm going to switch to more of the strategy that is more. These are just nightly builds. It's not even stable enough to be like an application that people can use. It's getting close, though. It's getting really close to being like a beta application. So like once something is in beta, I'm saying like I have working web application. It's mostly secure. Some security tests have ran. BACnet, Modbus, Haystack. That's all working. There's working drivers, and all of like the SQL functionality for crunching faults. This will be the first stable release of Rust, which is coming, which will be version 3.3.0. And then after that is going, then I want to get into more being able to use Open-FDD for algorithm purposes. That's coming, Array CDL. So that'll be in the next, iteration of nightly builds until that's stable, a beta version, and then a stable version. So it's, yeah, I apologize for all of like, been pushing this application so much, and like I really have to take like a deeper, step back from what I was doing. So just doing these nightly builds and patches, which is more, anyone that's in the developer that wants to follow that. And then this will be coming soon. So this will be just like, hey, we need people to test this on a live building. I have one live building that I can test this, and then stable version, which is coming, which will be something, hey, people can install and white label and do whatever you want to do. So it's coming. So that's a little bit about that. I've been noticing that backpipes, I still follow these are the Python BACnet stacks. Most of our work was in backpipes, so in Python and in Back0, and there are people pushing a lot of BACnet SC for the Python BACnet stacks, Python 3, so that's kind of cool. A lot of people are contributing to this, more than just one, so that's kind of neat. Wonder if this is Joel Benton. I don't know who Eric is, but merge pull requests. So yeah, a lot of work is happening to Python. I wonder if Eric 1000, based out of Germany, if he is a like a contributor to Backpipes where he can merge code bases in or something maybe. So yeah, a lot of cool stuff going on at Backpipes for BACnet SC, Secure Connect. So we'll be covering that topic at some point in time, but that is the TLS encrypted version of BACnet over WebSockets. Okay, so something that I want to just chat a little bit about is on the BACnet Stacks Playground. This I still want to update this. These are all our vibe code apps that we've done over the past 6 months. We still have a few planned. Mostly BACnet routing, some embedded stuff, and right now we're in the Rusty BACnet stack, and then we'll get into Project Haystack. Then also this concept of a do-it-yourself data lake. So I've been actually grabbing this idea from someone else, and I'm slowly going to morph this as well. So actually, I just found a few things to add to this. So I'm just going to spin up another session of cursor here. So like I'm working with someone else's do-it-yourself data lake, and my experience of working with it, where basically I'm using cursor to pull data from it, and then I'm using cursor agents. Current ones are Fable and Sonnet and Opus 4.8. They're cleaning the data with Python scripts and pandas, and they're making nice CSV files. So this is someone's do-it-yourself data lake with a air handling unit and chillers and that kind of stuff for a building. And this is something when Open-FDD gets stable enough that I can make use this in Open-FDD too. So does not look very clean to me, but I'm just slowly checking this out. So it looks like it can make plots. So this is some plots made in Python, it looks like. Okay, cool. So at least if Fable can clean the data enough, see that's flatline sensor, that's a fault. A couple little faults in there, those are flatline sensors. So we will have some data to play with. So I can see that. So cool. So that's working. So like I'm basically reverse engineering how someone made this data lake, and then it uses Cloudflare as a way for me to create a tunnel to my local computer here, and I can pull data from their data lake. And it's very messy and raw. Then I have to like make my own scripts in Python to able to clean it and then get it to some workable state that I can at least make some plots in some Python analyst libraries. And then, hey, it's probably ready for Open-FDD CSV driver. When that is ready, it's going to be ready very soon. So like this was a prompt that I am going to plop into Cursor about how to improve our vibe coding app, or our so this is going to be a prompt I'm going to put into for this vibe code app 18. For another cursor instance I have running on this is my Windows computer, and then this guy, where are you? The bench. So this is actually my Linux computer that's just like right to the left of me. is my old Windows computer that's now permanently converted into an Open-FDD rigorous nightly tester. And then I'm also using it to do our Python BACnet playground. Just maintain that too. So let me just zoom in a little bit here on, so we can get the text a little bit bigger. Okay, so like this is, here we go. So I'm just gonna say for vibe code app 18, can you improve this please to be in this enhanced version? So basically, the hopefully this makes sense. Like this is my Windows computer right here. So like the Fable, these agents that basically pulled data from the data lake, cleaned it up, and then like the agents that did all this like really understand the SQL, like how the database is put together, the SQL schemas, database design. So now that that agent has learned how someone else did this, it can reverse engineer, and we can create a prompt and dump it into, we can butter up our Python BACnet playground vibe code 18 once we get there. It might be a couple weeks or something like that. There's just too much going on at the moment, so maybe when Open-FDD calms down and we plow through rusty BACnet, we can get to some of this data lake concepts, because it really is like a concept for Haystack. But you could use anything with it. I think like this would be really cool to also be able to dump BACnet data into it if you're connected to a local BACnet network. Haystack is just nice because it's a TCP protocol. So through Haystack, you can, if it was a campus environment, you could route to different buildings, different subnets, grab data. You could do it through a VPN across the internet to like a Jace or something running out there. So yeah, this is interesting. Okay, so this will be our future vibe code app 18. So let's just check on our other. Okay, so the other cursor agent looks like it already replaced it. It already buttered it up. Okay, so like the next thing, like I might even just close out of this one. I have too many of these open at once. I get kind of mixed up. As a hobby project, I also have another one of these running during the day, doing some kind of downtime for a Unity game project. So like I'm vibe coding. This is like really blocky 1990s looking army tank game. I'll have to show you some updates. It's coming soon, but it's all in the Unity game engine, which is extremely difficult like to grasp. And the AI is okay. It's like even some of the Unity, I talked to some Unity developers too, and even hire some as a tutor once in a while. And the AI is, it's not that good in the game development world. It's getting there. It's still like a generation ahead of adoption from the building automation industry, but it's picking up there. And like some of the tools, like the model context protocol servers for Unity is still kind of wonky, but I'll have to show you sometime on a very blocky 1990s looking game, all vibe coded. It's kind of fun. Okay, so this is done. So like, okay, so another thing that I want to do and let AI crunch away on this. So like AI has made our generated daily theory lectures, which I think we're up to here. Maybe we are day 31. I think we're up to day 31. So these are all our AI generated mini lessons that I love this stuff. It's really hard. To me, I need to learn theory. I don't have that theoretical degree. So like what I want to do is, so hopefully this model still has some context. These lessons, which are pretty good, can you make a duplicate lessons in same format but for Linux? And learning the, this is my next thing I want to get into, is I want to study for this Linux Foundation certified system administrator. So this is just like a generic IT certification to learn Linux, which I highly recommend if you're into any of this stuff. If you've been watching this YouTube channel for this long, there's a very good chance that you're interested in Linux. You might even be way better than I am at it. And it's a really good skill set to have. Like if you're just like an ordinary building automation guy, like I came from 10 years sitting on a bucket, and you get tired of climbing ladders and downloading VAV boxes. Gosh, what is the name of this website? But it is CompTIA certifications. This is also another good one. CompTIA used to have like their own. Let's just look at CompTIA. So these are also another really good ones too. That must be the wrong one. Discover your certifications. So like, if you're someone else that's really interested in this stuff, I think the AI stuff is kind of a joke. To get certified in AI, unless you want to become like an AI engineer, that is something above and beyond what I'm interested in. Like if you want to fine tune large language models, put together custom reg, I don't think you need any training to do model context server. You just create all the documentation for what you've learned, kind of like not too much different than what I did with these two agents. I had them dump data in between the two, and you just chat. You just say, make me a model context server. There's not much to it. And plus, just like playing around with AI is how you get good at it. So some of the other stuff that I recommend people get into is, I never even knew they data certifications. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. AI is really good at just understanding data and helping analysts. But there, the CompTIA has Linux certifications. Networking Plus is like a really good one to go for. A plus, any of that kind of stuff I think is really good for if you're a building automation guy and you're just like want to learn some something very generic. This is great. This do the A plus, and then I would highly recommend once you do the A plus, jump over to the, it should just be a generic network plus. Maybe it's this A plus network, and then Linux plus is some. Oh, here's network plus, network administrator, network plus, and Linux plus. So there's other certification paths you can do, and then you can even do a cybersecurity one, like Security Plus is also really good. So in that order of A plus, Network plus, Linux plus, Security plus, that's like really kick-ass certifications in IT. Okay, so like what I want to do, I think I'm just going to do this Linux Foundation certification for this. So it's just like a very generic Linux systems administrator. And they even have a course here that, okay, so this is the course. think I have enough time. My my workload is actually really light at the moment, so like to me, like all time is precious. So this is all of the these are all of the topics in the Linux Foundation course where virtual machines, networking, storage. I have some. I'm pretty good with the Linux command line, but there is some gaps in my knowledge base. So this is all really good stuff. I'm just browsing some of this. Linux users and groups, permissions, essential commands, working with SSL certificates, like managing the Linux virtual machine storage, all that stuff. Yeah, the networking in Linux. There's deeper dives that I want to specialize in embedded Linux development as well. So, okay, so I copy that and I'm just gonna say ... I don't know why I always do these things. Like, can you make me a 50-day crash course with daily mini lessons in the same format for how to pass the test. These are the labs. Paste that in. And then I'm just going to say ... I don't know why I do that, but, and then just say, please add to a space here as well. And go nuts. Make something cool to be able to pass the heck is this called? It is the LFCS in 50 days. Please. Okay, so Fable and Opus are going to go bananas on making some more AI generated mini lessons. So maybe we could do this tomorrow, is we can start, or at least I'm going to start, you guys can follow along if you want to, is learning Linux. So AI is really good at Linux and, run this command, but it's really good at writing Rust as well. But I personally think it's like really important to study theory as well in all this. And even if I'm here fumbling around on the internet, looking like a fool, at least someone's got to do it. Okay, so I guess we're on day 32. So hopefully there'll be like, I think it's day 31. Was I just on here? No, I was just on that one. Yeah, it was. Okay, so day 32. So hopefully there'll be a 50-day just for Linux. And then, gosh, these are turning into hour-long sessions, so I should be able to, just cap these videos at an hour in length. And then, yeah, so like maybe we can do a little bit of Rust theory every day and a little bit of Linux theory every day. And if I just shut up and keep going, we'll actually be able to do something. Okay, so I just have to open up VS Code. Let me SSH into the Raspberry Pi. And it's going pretty slow. Come on, Remote Explorer. This is also something I was playing around with earlier. This featherstore.py. I was having some issues of being able to pull data. I can get the drivers to work in Rust for Open-FDD, but I'm not able to correctly populate the Apache Arrow feather storage format. So that is the way that Open-FDD stores data through Apache Arrow project. And I had a working version in Python, and I was actually conversing with the agent. There was some issue in Rust, the way it's rewritten in Rust, that is not working correctly. So that is my next nightly build, is to validate that against the working version of Python. Okay, so here we go. Let's get into the boss py. So right now I'm just SSHing into Raspberry Pi that's on the test bench here. Let me just open up the Explorer. Zoom in a whole bunch. So if you guys remember that this Raspberry Pi is also too old to run VS Code on. It's a Raspberry Pi B model, 3B, B plus, 3B plus, I think. So it has 8 gigs of RAM. It's quite a few years old. It's probably a good 5 years old at least. And it's just the architecture is not supported. It's too old for Cursor, even though Cursor is a fork of VS Code. It's too old to run it on. All right, so let's get to it. So maybe tomorrow we can do I have to try and do this, is to cram all this into one day, is to do a Rust lesson and a Linux lesson. Something I am also doing in at night is rereading my Rust programming book. So like at some point in time, this is as hard as it is, it's going to jump right into probably more advanced than I want network programming concepts. So I'm just like see if my I have been highlighting a few things in here. So this book is really good. Whoever wrote this Rust book did a really nice job. And it does not look like my I do highlight in here on a Kindle at night, and it does not seem like it is working. But this book is really good. It's just like the OSI model for physical layer, data layer, network layer, transport layer, session layer, presentation layer, application layer of networking. And then we'll eventually get into the OSI model for BACnet as well too. So like, each one of these layers, this is what you do in network programming, is like you prepare the packet or the data for the next layer, and then there is this thing called the PDU, the protocol data unit, for that layer. So each layer in here processes data for the next layer, and then it'll process data, and then this will process data, and then eventually, hopefully, we can look at it in Wireshark and it'll make sense. Darn it! I just wish my my highlighting that I do at night translated, but it looks done. Like it did not. As chunks of data travel from one layer to another, each layer adds a header, sometimes a trailer, to the chunk, forming the PDU for that layer. This process is called encapsulation. So this is all like really good stuff. Like as soon as we get into BACnet, the Rusty Haystack library is essentially like doing encapsulation and PDUs, for each layer. I thought there was just a few things in here worth just like what MAC addresses are, DHCP. So I don't have a degree in IT or certifications, but just through being a building automation technician for 10 years, I know enough about networking to be dangerous, but there's still some gaps in my knowledge. So yeah, this stuff is interesting. Time to live. This is a TTL algorithm, so time to live algorithm, where it will essentially, I think like what it goes through is each router passing the packet across the internet decreases the time to live, and then when it reaches zero, that router discards it. So it's a mechanism to ensure that packets are not stuck in an infinite loop across routers. Yeah, so how DNS works. So I think we'll probably get into some of these advanced concepts in the next couple days. So I am just kind of brushing up on here. So this is OSI model for a TCP protocol. And then what also is kind of cool in here is TCP is so this is a UDP header format. So this is the kind of stuff we'll get into in Rust and for BACnet. And yeah, the networking interfaces for Linux, and how we look at the operating system provides a socket. So in BACnet, like when I have been talking about only one UDP, only one process can handle port 47808. So that's a process. Only one socket can be opened for that at a time. Because I think BACnet is an inbound protocol. So yeah, a lot of good stuff here, and it's gonna be drinking out of the fire hose here pretty soon if it's not ready. So this is also kind of cool. I want to zoom in here. Whoops. So just this schematic is kind of neat. Hopefully you can see this, but I think we'll get into this a little bit later. So this is like client and server for TCP. When the client opens up a connection, like, hey Google, let me Google something, there's like a connection, and then an acknowledgement, and then the three-way handshake. This is the three-way handshake of TCP is one handshake, another handshake, another. So like TCP is guaranteed data transfer, and then also that the data, through another three-way handshake, that the data all made it. But apparently it's much slower than UDP. Like BACnet is a UDP protocol, so it's very fast. And there's no guaranteed mechanisms, to my knowledge, like this three-way handshake, that data made it to its destination. But there's also some drawbacks of TCP, like you streaming this YouTube video that is not a TCP data stream, it's just a UDP data stream. So yeah, I'll slowly just be kind of covering some of this stuff. Simple routing from DNS to TCP to UDP, and then how Linux and general support synchronous and asynchronous network programming. So something else that this gets a little deep into Rust, and also it's gets very complicated right out of the box, but it's very fitting. So the exact same thing, like a Hello Rust project, and something that it jumps right into is, I get to reread this tonight, but it's the borrow checker. So like the most important aspect of Rust is the ownership and borrowing model based on strict enforcing of rules. The compiler can guarantee memory safety without an external garbage collector. So Python has a garbage collector That means that you don't have to worry about managing memory in the program. You can just let Python run wild. Java does this too. And I think Golang, the language Go, has a built-in garbage collector, so you never have to worry about uh, memory management. It's handled all under the hood, but I think it comes with some costs that the um, programs are slower and they're less efficient. They require more resources from the computer to make them run. So that's why C, C++, and Rust are really fast, because there's a lot to go in them to get that goes into the making the program and compiling them. Okay, so like we'll probably touch bases this after I reread these sections, but it kind of gets into concept of heap and stack, where there's heap memory and stack memory. Mutable. We cover the concept of mutable, and also like this operand. So there's this operand character that we looked at too. So that was something. All variables declared in Rust can have a lifetime explicit Ellison that puts the name to its lifetime. That is, it's useful for the borrow checker to reason about relative lifetimes of the variables. In general, one does not need to put in explicit lifetime to each and every variable, since the compiler manages that. So yeah, we have to just a lot to cover here. So like getting deep into Rust is no easy task, especially network programming. But I think it's like a really cool concept to have. So like this is kind of right where we're at too in our theory lectures. So like much like C and C++, Rust has a struct. So let's look at that right now. And then I'll probably backstep tomorrow's theory lecture to cover what we did here. So, okay, so here we go. So day 32, a struct, an enum, and an impl. These are something like in Python, you don't even have to do any of this stuff. Like you don't have to manually define data structures or enum. You can just start coding. It doesn't even matter what data type it is. Python doesn't care, but it comes with some costs that Python is a very inefficient way to make applications and coding. It's really good for learning. Like if I had to do a advanced algorithms course, Python would probably be really cool to use, because you don't have to worry about some of this stuff. Okay, so let's just look at this. So this has this derive tag debug clone. So this is like a data structure. It kind of looks like a Python list, but it's called a struct. C has this too. It's C++. So it's just holding data here that this stuff will never change. So object instance is always, BACnet has object instance IDs. They're a fixed range of integers. So that's a U32. Object type is a integer U16, and so is the device ID. Okay, so this is our enums here. So in BACnet, this would be analog input, analog output, analog value, binary output. And this just looks like some impl. I think that's almost kind of like object-oriented programming. Like in Python, you can do a class and you can hold functions in a class. And I think it's kind of like that. I'm not really sure though. Maybe I can ask ChatGPT. Okay, so why this matters. Rusty BACnet and Rusty Haystack expose typed structs for devices, tags, and reads. You will read impl blocks in their docs daily. Many examples. Add method is analog with that funny operand character, and Boolean using object kind. Print and debug with goofy little characters in the middle. Okay, here we go. So we're doing it. Okay, so and this is add a method. Okay, so I guess this is a method in Rust. Oh, no, here we go. So this would be like a method is just another function in object-oriented programming. All right, so let's do this. So type a Boolean. So of course I have no idea what I'm doing. Function is analog. I know we're gonna have to do some curly braces like that. And I don't know if I even need to do a comma. Maybe I don't. If that was Python, you'd have to do a comma. Print and debug. Of course, I don't even know how to do that. So I'm assuming that you would just have to call the function somehow. I'm just going to cheat. Okay, so let's get to a little bit of where we were yesterday. Be like, okay, need help with the nothing like asking for help right out of the box. Yep, remain idea, BACnet point stores the number, but your object kind enum gives those numbers meaningful names. So is analog. Oh boy, okay, so it did a match. I don't think it told us to do that though. I'm just gonna say like please help me with the easiest way to learn this lesson. Okay, so did a okay, so so we just have to make a main function. I might actually just comment this out. Oops. Okay, let's make a main function. Main let point equal BACnet point. So this is basically just taking all of this data. I might actually just copy this. paste. And we can kind of make up some, pretend it's a BACnet device ID, object type 0, instance ID 55. Okay, so this should be a string. Let's say mixed air temp. I think we need some kind of a formatter here. I have to get a formatter here. Maybe we can install a Rust formatter. $6 million downloads. Let's try this. Hopefully it works. Either that or it'll bog down my Raspberry Pi. Okay, so then we just need to print line. I know this looks kind of funny, like manually typing code, but I highly recommend it for learning purposes versus just vibe coding and copy pasting. I wonder if that. All right, so ooh, it formatted work. See that? I just did a control shift and P, and then we have our linter, our Rust formatter. So, and it shuffled all the code over very nicely. Cool. Thank you. Change directly in the BACnet lab. Let's do a cargo. Then you do a cargo test. Error. Ooh, it expected a. Oh yeah. Come on. Okay. Let's try this again. Cargo test. Compiling. To a cargo run. All right. Cool. So that worked. Okay, so yeah, this is like object-oriented programming, I think. So point.objectID. So that's how you create kind of like a Python list of data. Okay, so this is exactly what I was talking about in a theory lecture. I'm going to reread this tonight, the network programming book about the operand parameter. The borrow is a BACnet point, or this like little character. The borrow this BACnet point so that the method can read its fields. Yeah, Rust has this borrowing and ownership concept. Yeah, so like you borrow data in memory or whatever behind the scenes with this character, I guess. So I think like technically I think we should be able to do this here and just say object type and object kind. Whoops. Oh, okay. Wait, hold up. Never mind. I'm just gonna keep this and keep moving on. Okay. Next, you convert raw BACnet object into a safer Rust enum. Okay. All right, let's do it. Got 10 minutes. Okay, a function is object kind. Oh, for time's sake, it's so tempting just to like cheat and copy it over there, which we might have to do here shortly. Eventually, like, we'll get into doing some packet captures in Rust as well. More of our friendly match, self.object type. Do 0. If this character sum, I guess, is something built into Rust. Object kind AI. So apparently this is how looks like I forgot something here, how the Rusty haystack works behind the scenes. So I might just copy this to 1, 2, 4, and then the last one is just an underscore, kind of a wild card, none. 1, 2, 3, 4. AO and AB, a BI, and a BO. Oh boy, this gets complicated. Not like, why does not like this? Oh, it's just saying it's never used. So Rust also does not like some coding languages. The compiler won't let you use code that's not called. All right, so now we get to do our other function for is analog. Come on, go back one. Fn is analog handy dandy operand self pool match self dot object kind some object kind AI. Gosh, I wish we had some Rust before this. And here we go again. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And our wild card. False. Okay, so then we want this to be false because it's not a binary point. And text here. I feel like for time's sake, we're probably going to have to clean it up with ChatGPT, but at least kind of learning something here. Kind of cheating too. Feels like cheating. BI binary output. I'll change this to an analog output and an analog value. All right, so let me just try that. Nope, I didn't like it. All right, so I'm gonna make this just a little bit bigger. And why is this code so unhappy? Mismatch unit type. Consider using a semicolon here. Maybe I need a semicolon? Oh. All right, let's just clean it up. You're very close. Small. We forgot to close object. All right, so we must have been missing something. Let's just copy and paste this. I think this is all we have for time for today. So, all right, is analog. So we do have this rust warning for dead code. So this is just some data that we were kind of making up and pretending that it is from this device. Object type is 0. Instance 55 from mixer temp. So like object type. No, I guess that is just a integer. I guess doesn't make much sense to me. Object kind. Anyways, I think I'm kind of getting a little bit of the hang of it little by little. So I don't think I was able to so yeah, I didn't even get to any of this stuff for struct of the zone temp. Maybe I'll do this tomorrow and then just show you in tomorrow's video of what it looks like. So I'll try and have this ready for tomorrow's video. I want to try and do one video a day, and there's just so much. Then we're adding Linux into all of this, and yeah, things will be very packed in 1 hour videos. So before I end this video, let's check on okay, so it did create this 50-day LFCS track, same lessons format. So let's get into this too. So like I have some time to, my time is kind of more free than I want it to be right now. So I should be I know I should be applying this to something, and I think this is a perfect thing to do maybe over the summer here. So take practice for the Linux Foundation LFCS, do some Rust network programming, and maybe even a little bit of Rust graph theory, and throw in some IT certifications and be like, hey, maybe you can get a job. So it's all really good stuff. There's just so much to learn. It's like, oof, makes my head hurt just thinking about it. So yeah, hope you guys are liking this stuff, and I will show you tomorrow the first the Linux lesson, and then hopefully have the prior day's Rust lesson finished, so I can just kind of quickly go over it, and then we can be off to the races for the next Rust theory lesson. So hopefully you guys are liking this. Lots of intimidating stuff for me to actually finish and complete. So let's do this. So as long as life doesn't get into the way, we're off to the races. So talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a great afternoon.